Welcome to the Creative Brew, helping you keep your creative juices brewing. We're giving out chunks of insight, motivation, and practicality for your creative journey. My next partner is Elevate Coffee Trading, and if you appreciate specialty coffee, enjoy outdoor adventure, and love helping elevate the lives of children around the world, then you're going to love Elevate Coffee Trading. Their mission is to extract hope through love, coffee, and adventures. There's free shipping in the United States, and every bag of coffee helps sponsor health and education for children in coffee-producing countries and in areas of need in the United States. You can use promo code ELEVATE21 on your next order, and you can follow their journey on social media at Elevate Coffee Trading. Or you can visit online at elevatecoffeetrading.com, and let's start extracting hope together. And this episode is brought to you by Baba Coffee, smuggling good vibes. Baba roasts their coffee beans each week and only offers the freshest coffee. They have espressos, lattes, cappuccinos, pour over, or drip coffee. You can try their cold brew coffee, nitro cold brew, or bulletproof coffee, and boba milk teas. They also have a wide assortment of delicious food. I would suggest you try the avocado toast, mimosas, wine, or beer. On the weekends, you can check out some great music like the Soto Six and food like Eliza the Shelf and others over the weekend, every Friday and Saturday, beginning at 6 p.m. You can check out everything they got going on Facebook and Instagram at Baba Coffee. And welcome to a new episode of the Creative Brew. First of all, I hope everyone's having a great June. I can't believe it's already June. Can't believe it's summertime. Definitely a lot of things. It's been a roller coaster ride, especially for me. I'm in the creative field, being in graphic design and creative services industry. I find it it's like a roller coaster right now. I know with and this episode is going to be on AI, and I believe with anything you get your pros and cons with it. Even when Photoshop first came out, it was back then there was a lot of people that had a way of working, and with the rise of technology with Photoshop and Illustrator, it felt like, okay, they're going to take technology is going to take our jobs, and for the most part all it did was help it. Not to say with AI, it's there's been a lot of it's been one side or the other. It's people either hates AI or they love it. It really depends on what side of the fence you're on. From maybe from a business owner standpoint, they know that they may not have the budget to hire a full-time graphic designer. Being able to create certain graphics through ChatGPT or other AI software, I know for some of them has been really a help for them. At the same time, on our side, we're used to working with clients. We're used to creating things its own brand. That when you have specific fonts, specific imagery, all these things that we do to help produce different creative. On our end, seeing people opt out for something that's free, opting out for something that they could quickly turn out. I think for a lot of us on this side, it's a little disheartening. It's just knowing that we put in years upon years of work to be able to see people just put a prompt in and create a flyer. I've got my thoughts about that. But at the same time too, I think with this episode, I want to put the pros and cons for both. I want to be as objective as possible and not to necessarily say, hey, yeah, it's evil. AI's got to be here. The way that technology is speeding up, being able to reframe and adjust with the times, even as a creative is what's needed. And honestly, this doesn't even. I know we're in creativity, but even talk with other business owners and other people that it's really getting disrupted, and really trying to figure out ways of, okay, how do we evolve as a creator? How do we evolve with the technology that's been given to us? And So I know I find myself experimenting with different things, and but I do want to say that with AI, I'll give you I'll give you the pros. We'll go with the pros first. So for anyone using AI, the pros definitely being able to ideate. I know I'm on different AI programs all the time, ideating. I want to be conscious, and I'll put this in the cons list. I'll explain later of how much AI I use. I want to be able to, and this is something I preach, being able to put ideas on paper, putting ideas on your phone, and being able to sort of think and process and go through your process, go through certain ideas to maybe find solutions. Now, not to say you don't get inspiration from other things. I want you to use that inspiration, use the things that you observe to in your creative process to create solutions for your clients. But at the same time, too, I don't want to make sure that I don't get dumbed down by AI. I don't want to go straight to AI and say, hey, look, turn me out this logo, turn me out something like this. That's not for me personally. I'm old school. I was actually taught with, hey, going pencil to paper and sketching out ideals and thumbnails and rough drafts. That was actually something that I showed some kids at a recent workshop with the Grid Summit in San Diego, and really just getting kids to just get back on paper and writing ideas and sketching things out. For them was fun. And there's a lot of there's a lot of things that backs with maybe putting pen on paper and being able to have that tactile feeling. So even with that being said, I want to make sure that I'm not getting dumbed down. I'm not saying, hey, look, for the sake of budget and maybe getting a quick check from a client, being able to churn out different social media graphics and things like that. For me, I want to make sure that things are on brand. I want to make sure that I'm using the story that we've developed for that client, the messaging, to be able to produce specific graphics, specific creative ads, logos, for that brand. So I think for AI and you being able to quickly ideate just different solutions, different mock-ups, just things that, hey, you didn't think about. I know I use that all the time. Now, what I don't do is say, hey, I like this, let's use this. So I want to be able to get the inspiration, maybe things that I didn't consider on paper, and then how can I use that in my process? How can I use that in my workflow? Um, Even for the podcast, producing this podcast, I think AI has helped tremendously as far as with the video editing part. Being able to quickly pop up different snippets and content and being able to distribute. Quick shout out to Opus Pro. They're not a sponsor, but quick shout out to them. Being able to produce episodes like this and being able to get it out and distribute it. AI definitely helped with my workflow. I know when I first started before AI really, blew up, it would take me, a good 2 hours to edit out a episode. And now I can go up and upload and get things trimmed up. So in that aspect, AI has been great. And that's something that I want to use. Like I'm always using AI as an assistant, but I know I'm the main creative force. I'm the one that I can come out and if client needs a logo design or needs some idea for a new project. I know I'm the one that ultimately like it's gonna start with me. Obviously, yes, I can use AI for various tasks. It could be part approvals or it could be all kinds of quick little mock-ups and things like that that I know I've played around with. But as far as just the main like creative production, I think that's on me. That's on me as a human. That's me as a creative, being able to supply that to the client and being able to sell my ideals. I don't want to sit there and I think for the young designers, I don't want you to go to AI and quickly put a prompt in and then churn out something, and then that's what you're giving them, and that's what's happening a lot right now in the creative industry. There's a lot of AI artists, AI logo designers that's
um, giving these graphics to their clients, or matter of fact, businesses are actually going to chat, chat GPT and other places to get an AI logo. And there's some things that I want to explain, especially in this episode. So even with that being said, I think for business owners, like being able to maybe have the democracy, being able to have access to be able to create things, I understand that. But I think in terms of taste of craft, of being able to produce something that um, really is professional, work with your designer, work with a human designer, work with a creative studio. I'll give a quick mention of mine with Langford Design, but anyone that you're associated with, I would definitely refer to them first. And I find myself reframing my business as well. I know it's been a disruption right now. I know for a fact right now that I can tell that as far as my client sales and as far as things that I'm normally doing, I can tell that it's dropped. And I know that that's probably the same for a lot of people in the creative industry. It's been a little disruption, and it's really trying to figure out, how to maybe reframe what we're doing, maybe how to talk to your client, maybe reframing how we partner up with them. Instead of us saying, instead of us for many designers, we're maybe the perception is like, hey, we make things look pretty. And for me, that's not what I want. I want to be able to create design solutions that creates results for my clients, being able to tell a story, being able to connect with their core audiences and really getting the results that they're wanting. That's being a designer. So that being said, for a lot of creatives, a lot of designers that are making pretty flyers and making things that look good, not necessarily are they really getting the results. That's where AI is going to have some conflict. I think for me, those smaller projects, those smaller things, like maybe people would come to me with flyer designs and smaller little projects. I think people are opting out now for AI, but I want to give a caution on that, and perhaps maybe some things to think about, and maybe a way of balancing out your use of AI. I know for me, that now I find myself even with Photoshop and Illustrator, there's all kinds of options now to where you can create generative AI artwork. I don't do that a lot. All my logos are original, they're custom. But being able to quickly produce maybe some ideals for graphics, or maybe there's just some slight editing I have to do in Photoshop, like if I'm working on a poster design or a cover design. I know I've used Photoshop to use the general AI to expand certain areas, or maybe delete out little things. So it's been a great, like I said, been a great help for me in that aspect from the production side. Obviously, the main creative, like, hey, this is the ideal. That's going to be you. That is going to be your superpower, really going forward, for the next 10 years. Being able to be a creative strategist, being able to be an ideator, being able to be one that comes in as some creative consultant and say, look, this is the direction we need to go. Obviously, maybe you can advise on what tools to use, art direction, all these things. I think needs to be a little bit more precedent, especially for clients and clients understanding that, hey, we're here as a partner, as a resource. We're not here to say, hey, look, let's make this bold, or how come this flyer isn't popping like I want it. No, it's not that. And you've seen it right now. You've seen. I know I've got screenshots of all kinds of, we call it AI slop. All kinds of flyers that has the same template, same fonts, same colors. No, not really same colors, because all you do is just switch them out. Same layouts. And for me, it's just, I understand the nature of the beast right now. Money can be a little tight, budgets can be a little tight, but at the same time too, if you want your brand to be taken seriously, then sometimes free isn't the best route. You get what you pay for. I'll say it like that. It's great. It's great for quick graphics, quick things that you want to put out. That's awesome. My only caveat is just making sure it's on brand. You know, it's just one of those where I've seen, even for me, I've seen flyers of clients that I've worked with, and making sure that their branding is what it needs to be. And I'll see one flyer and the logo's been distorted through AI. Um, Not even the right colors. And then I'll see another flyer with, I'll see the logo distorted, and maybe they have certain colors, certain fonts that we're not even using in the style guide. Um, so those are the things that if you want to be taken seriously, if you want people to trust your brand, then be consistent throughout. But don't, if you want to be a copycat, don't expect to have that brand loyalty and that brand trust that you're looking for, or to be taken seriously. It's just one of those. A lot of times, I just sit there and scroll through. I see the same layout, and this is coming from a design eye, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize, or I'm not saying don't realize, but a lot of people within the design industry, you have a specific taste, you have an eye for design, fundamentals, the rules of design, and AI is pretty much breaking it. It's just saying, hey, look, it's something, hey, it's in your face. It's got, super, it pops out, it's super glossy, and the fonts all crazy, bright colors. So look, but the in AI, and it puts it out, and that's what people are using. And it's wild to see. It's really actually pretty hilarious, because I see it. I was like, Lord, this is just the same font, different colors. Like, is that your brand? Is that what you are? And that's something that maybe you have to think about, as a business owner, as a owner of a brand. If you're a school, a university, and I've seen, for the most part, I've seen a lot of the universities that they've been doing really well as far as keeping on brand, and not really definitely utilizing AI, but not to where it's like it's just some cheesy generic flyer. I think I said they got bigger budgets, but I do want to preach, and I'll probably put some more content on that as far as with high schools, smaller colleges, making sure that your own brand with certain things. Yes, use AI, use it for when you as far as for specific graphics, but it could be honestly, it could be as simple as maybe uploading the style guide and say, hey, look, can you create a specific background image based around this style guide, and then implementing the maybe land the font, the type and everything, maybe in Canva, or maybe in Photoshop, Illustrator. I know I use specific, I create specific generative art, for promotion, but then I'll go into Illustrator and actually create the layout and design and everything. So it's like I said, little assets. If there's something specific that I'm looking for, then I try to be creative as far as like, okay, what image am I looking for, and does this work? Sometimes I get a good prompt, I get a good image out of it. Sometimes it's like, oh Lord, I can't believe this came out. So definitely being really detailed with your prompts, which I am learning. I'm learning as a designer, but at the same time too, knowing that, hey, I've already knowing the design rules, knowing from a concept wise, like knowing what my concept is, knowing what my initial idea is, and then using the tools needed to create my design. Likewise, with a lot of people that may not know design, may not be a professional graphic artist, you're just putting out something just to put it out, and it's trendy. So that's something where you need to understand, like, trendy isn't sometimes the best. Is trendy your brand? I think that's going to be the question. If you have a specific vision and what you want to put out, you taking the same format as 10 other schools, I don't think that's going to be the route you need to go. So that's what I got to say on that. It had been burning in my brain for a while, and definitely wanted to get that off my chest. This is one of those where, like, yes, use AI, it's here, but just balance it out. Don't just put out graphics, especially designs and logos that were made that I've created for different clients, and you put it through AI. AI is going to turn it out and generate something a little bit warped, So you have to be careful on that. So you want to keep the brand integrity, and like I said, that's something that a bigger school would not do is put their logos in there and create let AI generate that logo or copy it. It's going to come out crazy. So that's something you just need to be responsible with it. So for me, I think those are some of the pros, like some of the pros. I'm sorry, being able to have that as a production assistant. I know I'm currently I know I'm using a Claude AI to come up with different ideas and maybe some things that I'm working on, and things that I can use as far as my knowledge and skills to be able to create some digital products. So I know I find myself leaning towards that a little bit, but at the same time too, it does give me some insight on maybe some things I need to consider in my business and in all the brands that I work with, that I associate myself with. So it's been a great assistant, but I don't let AI be the main creative think tank. That's you. That's your brain. Especially for my creators, that you are the main creative engine. Use AI to use the maybe as an assistant to help produce what you're trying to produce, but balance it out. Balance it out. Don't just go straight to AI and say, "Hey, look, this is my artwork," and then that's it. I think that's what a lot of even the comic book industry is pretty bad right now. You have a lot of AI artists that's just saying, "Hey, look, here's my comic book, or here's my character," and it's just completely done AI. And I was like, "There's no, not say originality. I guess you prompted it like you wanted to, but putting your ideas on pen and paper, all the masters. You go back. I'm old school. Like I said, I go back to the masters, to the people before me, and everyone drew on paper, sketched out ideals, had the initial ideals, and then fine tuned them later. But being able to just like sit down and like just think, just like, hey, this is the ideal I'm trying to create, and messing up. And I think that's where we miss. We miss the human element in it. We miss, okay, why did we design this? Or everyone, I know me and my fellow designers, like I can look at different designs and be like, oh, I know that he did this, or I know she did that. Like having that craft, having that specific taste that I think a lot of designers refine through their years. You just don't see that with AI, and you could tell it right off the bat. It's just like, hey, here, this is what I want, and then they say, here, there it is. You take it for whatever reason. So that's the thing that I think is going to be the ongoing battle, is understanding how to use AI as a resource, and then at the same time too, training your owners, the business owner, training your clients on the proper use for it. Like, hey, if I create a logo for you in a style guide, style sheet, try your best to implement the things that we've created. Don't just go, hey, say, hey, I want to create this ad, and then everything is off brand from what we're seeing. As far as what our logo, or what your logo, or what your style guide and fonts and everything associated with that. Don't off-road too much. Use your designer as a creative resource, as a partner. You, like I said, you went to them to create the logo and the brand identity. Be a partner with them. Don't just say, hey, look, I've got this logo, that's it. Find ways of creating that partnership. And that's something I try to do a lot, is how can I create that ongoing partnership with what we're doing? So I'm really passionate about that. I'm really intent about. I'm not looking for something transactional. Hopefully, business owners. I think the more that we see more AI slop, is really focusing on more relationships, and more, honestly, relationships over like transactions, and being able to create those partnerships and collaborations. I think that's going to be key. So for cons, what I got, I know I probably have a whole list of them, but I know even the last article that I read talked about that I read recently. I talked about Marvel releasing its whole visual studio staff, creative staff. It was pretty much the people that was in charge of the visual identity for the Marvel movies over the last 20 years, laid them all off to go towards a more AI centered approach. So we already know it's disruption all across the board. There's a lady, like I said, just paraphrasing, I forgot the girl's name, startup AI company that's building AI movies from scratch without any human involvement. So they're a production company that's said they've been greenlit and they're trying to disrupt Hollywood. So there's going to be disruption all across the board, and really it's going to decide on honestly consumers on how they accept it. I know for years having that human element in there in producing art, creativity. Um, I think once we start to create it into a product, and we're just turning out, things. Obviously, yes, we're always having to think about the end goal in mind, especially in the creative field. We're always um, tailoring towards client needs and being able to deliver those creative assets. At the same time, too, you still have to keep the human element involved in that. In any creative pursuit, it could be theater, writing, acting. I think a lot of people now are starting to produce whole AI books, which I am against. I want you to be able to write, to struggle, to mess up, to revise. I know I'm having to do that with my book. And it's really tempting to say, hey, look, let me just upload what I have and churn out a whole book. Very easy to do that. But if you're looking to master your creative process, if you're looking to really be something you're proud of, be willing to fail. Like, be willing to say, I created this. I don't like it. Let's revise it, or let's change it, or just put it out there and release it. But don't necessarily just go straight to AI and you let it run and do its own thing. That it's just one of those where, like, I think a lot of people are starting to tell now, like, you can, when AI has written something, as opposed to a human writing it. People's got a specific voice, a specific tone. Yeah, you can tell real quick if it was written by. Obviously, yeah, it's getting a little bit slicker. It's starting to, get a little close towards, you don't know, almost blurring the lines a little bit, but you can still tell. So from that end, like, find ways of uh, respecting the craft. Especially if you're in the creative field, like, be willing to, like, go out there and create, and as I said, and be human, like, mess up and fail and go back and redo it again. And so I think once we start going towards, hey, we're just creating something, we're just prompt something and put it out. I think that's where we get in trouble. So obviously, disruption in movies, books, comic books. Some of the cons. Right now, if you're drinking maybe a bottled water, which I would advise, don't drink a plastic water bottle, um, or water with plastic. As I said, that's another episode. But um, every time that we use Chat GPT, we're actually burning through a bottle of water every time that we do a prompt. Right now, it's not so bad. In about 10, probably about 10 to 20 years, supposedly we may have a water shortage. Being able to conserve what we have. I know there's a lot of huge AI companies now starting to um, go to different towns, different cities to create, AI processing centers. Even now, they're actually, from what I heard, they're actually they're paying people to put an AI processing, um, I guess, block in their home, which I would not do at all. But those are some things that we might have to think about. It's going to be, some battles with water. If we're using so much AI and it's burning that amount of water, it's gonna be tough. So being able to balance that out, and this has been the first time in really history to where we're actually, like, consuming that much water for, to process all this data. So that's something to look out for. That's a con. I want to be able to protect this earth. I want to be able to live on this earth. But if we're, like I said, we're processing, we're churning out so much data through these prompts, and we're burning through water like that, then that's going to be tough. So, like I said, figuring out how to balance that out. Perhaps for a lot of y'all, maybe get into the water industry. Who knows? Maybe you have some idea to balance this out. Hopefully, we'll see. Like I said, if you're listening to this, I hope you have an idea to balance out the water usage. Maybe they use recycled water. I don't know. I'm not sure. But that is something to consider, is the water usage and how much is actually getting consumed through AI. From a print side, I know this has actually happened to me a few times where I get a flyer that was done in AI. I still have to go back through. Usually I can zoom in. First of all, I can zoom in and say, hey, look, this is low res. Any graphic that you churn out in ChatGPT, unless you upscale it, is going to be it's not going to be usable for print. So if you're listening to this, stop sending your flyers, your ChatGPT flyers, your AI flyers to a printer and thinking that it's going to come out the way that you see it on the screen. It's not. It is set up at 72 DPI. It's probably a smaller image. It's great for social, maybe for the website. But if you plan on printing it, you have to get a high res version. And since you put it in ChatGPT and you can't edit it, it's going to be tough. So what I'm having to do is I'm having to go back through and edit out specific things in the AI flyers and pretty much set it up for print. And which I got my ways of doing that. But that is something that I shouldn't have to do. That's something that I would rather a customer or client come to me, let me create the ad based off of their branding, based off of what they're looking for, and then have the editable version on file or on hand to where we can change and edit if we need to. But if you put that thing in, if you put a flyer or your prompt in ChatGPT, odds are if you don't have the tools to edit it, it's going to be really hard. So that is one of the big things. From a Also too, from the print side, it doesn't account for bleeds. So you notice, and I wish I had a screenshot, a lot of flyers, like I said, it goes all the way to the edge. So you'll see icons and graphics at the very bottom of the flyer. And then, like I said, you don't have that safe space for the bleed. So if you sent that image to a printer, they would have to extend out the artwork to make it work. Odds are that bottom part is going to get cut off because AI is not accounting for safe space on a graphic. It's just putting everything everywhere, and there you go. So that is another con for AI. If you feel like, hey, you want to create your flyer, that's great, but you better just use it for social because you're not gonna be able to use it for print. You're gonna have to upscale it, and then odds are everything's gonna be pixelated, so you're gonna have to get it recreated anyway. And you probably don't know the fonts that ChatGPT uses, so odds are you're gonna have to send that to a designer and get it recreated anyway. But you would have a high-res version, so you pick and choose with that. Another thing, if you are creating a AI generated logo, I know I've read some articles where there's been some business owners that's actually created their wanted to rebrand, so they put a prompt in and actually created a logo from like ChatGPT and had a huge blowback on that. So it was a lot of people that didn't like that at all. It was actually for a seafood restaurant, and they felt like this was their new brand. It was horrible. I seen the logo, and it was horrible. It was one of those where like you could tell it was all flashy, gradient, 3D looking. You could already tell like AI generated that. So it was a lot of pushback on that. A lot of people did not like the logo. I think they're still keeping it. So we'll see what happens. But at the same time too, I want to let you that the government, U.S. government, just passed that, or like I said, I just read this, and you can follow up to make sure this is actually correct or not. But I feel like it is correct. Um, AI generated logos or any AI generated artwork is not copyrighted by law. So technically, like I said, they count copywritten artwork as anything with a human touch. So if you're creating your comic book characters, you're creating certain designs. I know I've got certain things copyrighted. If it's created by made by human presence, yes, you can copyright it. Any AI music, any AI logos, books. Technically, a lot of those things aren't copyrightable. Like if AI created it, you had no hand in it, then you don't have the copyright. So check that out, fact check it, let me know. But that was something that I just read up on from the Supreme Court. So any AI generated artwork is not copyrightable. So that's something that I want you to think about as a business owner. If you plan on creating something through AI, you better make sure that you can. If you're just prompting it and creating a logo, odds are it's not copyrightable. So I could easily put in that same prompt, change the colors, and then voila, I have the same logo that you have. It's just different colors. So please go to a reputable designer, creative agency that focuses on creating brand identities and logos and creating something that's unique for your business. Please go to them. Why go to just to ChatGPT to create something? And it's probably low res anyway. So that's something. If you're trying to get this done on, trying to get it printed on t-shirts. I know I just talked to actually had a t-shirt company that I'll be releasing on another episode for the Creative Brew, but they said they don't even accept AI logos anymore. It's like, no, you can get it recreated through a designer and then we can use it. But they're not even taking AI logos anymore. Because it's not even high res enough for them to be able to use. It's great for mock-ups, but if you're trying to get this actually printed, no. So that's another thing. You need to make sure the logo that you're getting, if you're generating through AI, odds are it is not print ready. So please go to a designer, go to someone that focuses on this to create the logos and the graphics and the file formats that you need for different vendors. Make it easy on yourself. Make it easy, or you're gonna have to pay extra. So that's what like I said, I'll end it on that one. So like I said, free isn't always the best. I'll tell you now. So I think that's what I got right now. I know there are some other things AI related, and there's so much news, so much things that's going on right now. But there's, like I said, there are ways of using it. I know even for my clothing brand, Just Heart. I know if there's a certain look or certain feel, I'll create the design. I'll create the mock-up design, and I know I'll upload it. And I don't use ChatGPT per se for a lot of those. I usually use a paid service where I can create AI video and really high-end content assets for generate through AI. But what I'll do is I'll get the design that I created for the shirt, and then like I said, I'll mock it up on an image that maybe I generated, and then I'll create some kind of video from it. So, like I said, or some some ad assets to put out for social. So there's like I said, there's ways of using AI for your production, for your workflow. It's just figuring it out. But don't just go straight to AI like, hey, I want to create all this stuff, and it looks the same as everybody else's. And I see it all the time, and that's coming from a seasoned designer that focused on. I've created different layouts, different designs for all kinds of clients, and to see the same thing over and over again, just different colors. It's like you're not even helping yourself. You're not even giving yourself a chance to share who you actually are because you're copying everybody else. So that's what I got today. Let me know, is AI helping or hurting you? Comment when this episode releases. Let me know. Be sure to subscribe to Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Let me know. Comment. give me some messages on the creativebrew.tv on Instagram, and just let me know if AI is hurting or helping you. So that's what I got today. Thanks to my sponsors, Baba Coffee, Elevate Coffee Trading, and my art partners, Studio Ace Arts, based out here in Oceanside, and Escondido Arts Partnership. So this is the Creative Brew. Be creative, stay inspired. Call the homie up, told him loot the sample up. We gotta come together now, cause I had enough. The time is now, there'll never be another one. It's a second laptop.